Check this out, guys. Now, one of these SD cards, even though they look exactly the same, are not like the other. Let's give it 5 seconds to figure out if we know what it is. Now, my keen-eyed photographers and videographers will automatically see what it is. Now, these are the exact same SD cards, but one is different. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you got it. One does not have a lock switch. This one has the lock switch. As you can see on the left-hand side, all the way at the almost at the top here, this one has a lock switch right there. A little silvery piece, a little white piece there. This one does not. And you might be saying, why is that important? Well, it's because when your computer sees this SD card, it's going to think, hey, you put the lock switch on. I cannot access any of your memories, your videos, pictures, whatever you took on this. I can't see it because you locked this SD card. I'm not allowed to see it. Now, when it looks at this SD card, it's going to be like, oh, that's a regular SD card because it has a lock. And I can tell that, well, now it's in the lock position. But as long as I unlock it, here in this position, the computer's going to be like, oh, that's free for me to look into. They seem to be a liability to me because once these come off, the computer does not know whether or not to utilize this. The camera won't access it. It won't let you use the memory sometimes, but more so the computer won't let you really get stuff off of this, or it might let you view it if it's in good condition. But usually once the SD card switch falls off, these can't be recovered. Like, well, they can be recovered, but you can't take anything off of them. Now, I saw online that you can put a piece of tape on it. So we're going to try and find out whether or not that's true in this video. As long as you tape over the side here, like I just did, you should be good. You can put this in your computer, read, write, and copy files and stuff like that. I would not put this back in my camera just because the camera kind of eats at the size of your SD card. When you put them in and you put them out, it eats at the size of your card. So I would not put this back in my SD card reader in my camera, but I would easily put this back in the SD card reader for my computer because this seems to be a little bit safer for the computer, not so much the camera, because anything can happen to the camera. Camera's so hard to get fixed. You can always replace an SD card reader on your computer for relatively cheap. All right, guys, it looks like this works, but with a caveat. Now, especially when you have UHS-2s, look on the back of the card. If you were to put this into the computer or your camera or any other device, it would have a fit, because you see right here, you're actually blocking some of the contacts right here. You want to make sure that you use the thinnest of slivers of tape, scotch tape, or whatever kind of tape you're using, you know, and you want to cover that up, because it's not so much about the tape, it's more so about it being flat right here, because whatever device tries to access it, I guess it's using some kind of physical contact with your device and trying to see if this is open. So if you cover it and make it flat, it has no choice but to think it's not locked. So you want to make sure that this, you see how these pins right here are contacts. You don't want to cover it right here like I did with masking tape. I just used this right here to show you guys. I wanted to see it. I saw it before, but I wanted you guys to see it just to make sure you guys knew that if you covered up anything like this, even though that doesn't look like a contact, it's definitely going to give an error code back to you. So you're going to make sure that when you put your tape on here, that you don't cover up any other contacts, and try to make it as thin as possible. So, all right. So as far as the scotch tape thingy that covers up the lock switch of the SD cards, if you have any SD cards like this, or for whatever reason it's giving you an issue with the lock, I would just cover it up, and then make sure it's in a lot better condition as this is, because I just pulled this off. But you understand the concept. It works. Give it a try. Tell me what you think. Like I said, you're responsible for your own footage. Do this at your own risk. If you get your tape stuck in your device or whatever, that's not my fault. But be very, very careful about how you do this. All right. Stay tuned for the next episode.